In this video, we are going to see that how we can use forward ref in higher order components. First of all, what is the purpose of using forward ref in higher order components? The thing is that let's say the setup is something like this. That right now there is a particular width border higher order component which simply adds a border, nothing else. So this is can also be achieved using composition, but just plain composition. But I'm just giving an example of HOC right now. That's why this is there. So this adds a border. If I don't have this HOC added, then that border will not be applied. Okay. Uh, but now let's see that let's say there is a particular ref, and then in let's say in component did mount, you are trying to do something like simply print that ref. So whatever the ref is there, that you are trying to print. So you're trying to print this my.ref, this.myref, okay, and then essentially you are passing it here. So right now you can see it's plain and simple. My div1 ref is passed to this, and that's why this ref will point to my div1, and that's why you can see that the current of that ref points to my div1. But what if now I change, rather than using this, I use a higher order component of that with border? Will it remain my div1 or not? Intuitively it should not, right? Because now the actual component is the component which is returned by HOC, and that is what it is happening. You can see that now the after with border is applied, then the current is with border. Why? Because now this component my div1 is no more this my div1, rather this is something which is returned from with border. What is returned from with border? From with border we are returning this component. That component is defined inside HOC. Okay, so that is with border, not my div1 which is declared here, and that's why here you can clearly see that in current we are getting with border. But generally higher order components are used for just adding some effects, some additional logic, some UI, that sort of thing. Generally in most of the cases it is not intended, that a ref is not intended for higher order component. Okay, so what if I want to forward forward the reference which whatever is passed from here directly to inside component, whatever is internal wrapped component which we call of the higher order component, rather than using it directly, applying it directly on the higher order component itself. Now we know how to achieve that. The way how to, and we know already how to achieve that. We just have to use that syntax here. We already know that there is a syntax called react.forwardRef. Okay, so that we are going to use. So what we are going to do is that rather than returning with border directly, we are going to return react.forwardRef, and the syntax is that it returns of it has a callback function where the first argument is props and second argument is ref, and this is the ref which will be forwarded. Okay, so here essentially you just return the component with whatever the props, that is fine. But more importantly, now what here we will do is that I will use another some props. So let's say forwarded ref or something like this is equal to ref. So now what is happening is that the actual component which is returned is the component returned by forward ref. Forward ref takes this ref which is actually passed from here directly, forwards it to with border as a prop named forwarded ref. Here what I do is that I take this, extract this, so I can do something like this, and then whatever props are left, rest props, this is this and is equal to this dot props. Okay, and then rather than forwarding everything, I'm just forwarding sorry, passing the props, rest of the props. Rather than passing forward this forwarded ref, this thing is giving us the ref which was forwarded. So that ref I will directly attach here at ref as ref. So ref is equal to this thing. Okay, and now you can see that even with HOC I am getting my div1. Why? Because even though my div1 is coming is a component returned from HOC, the ref which I passed, that is not used by this with border component. Why? Because I used a forward ref syntax where the ref is not used by with border, because you can see that here I am not using a ref prop, rather I used a separate prop and I forwarded that ref. Okay, and then that ref is actually used actually inside the component, which means that when you use this sort of syntax, then if you apply ref here, then that is not applied on the output of this, rather it is applied only on the wrapped component itself, and that is what it is happening here. The wrapped component is my div1, this internal my div1, I mean this one is not my div1, this one is like the name is just my div1 variable, but actually this is with border component. But now with this syntax you can clearly see that this is forwarded to the wrapped component, the internal component it is going to. Okay, even if it is applying with border HOC. Okay, so yeah, that is how this is like not a new thing, we already know how to use forward refs, but yeah, forward refs are very commonly used in HOC, and that's why I thought that I should separately give an example for that. So that will be all for this one. See you in the next one.